Well, I'm Julie Albaugh. I'm editor of Wedding Market News, and I'm so excited to be bringing this amazing blogging panel here for Wedding Market Live. If you want to join, we have the hashtags up here. So if you have questions that you would like to ask the panel, you need to use the Wedding Market hashtag. Please also use the hashtag for Wedding MBA if you can. I will be looking for your questions on Twitter when we get to that portion. So make sure you use your Twitter account and we will look for your questions, but we will have the feed up here for you. All right, at this point, I'm going to go ahead and have our panelists introduce themselves and what they do.
You want to start?
I guess I'll go first. Good morning, I'm Rebecca Crumley. I'm the weddings photo director for The Knot, which means I specialize in real wedding content. So an ordinary day is just kind of digging through weddings to take it lightly. So it's getting our submissions from photographers and wedding planners and kind of really looking at trends and what's happening in these local markets and what's going to inspire our audience is really what we're looking for. I'm sure we'll dive into that more today.
Good morning, I'm Dawn Strong, I'm an editor at Style Me Pretty. Basically, that means a lot of things. So anything from social media to handling our submissions process to working with our advertisers, sort of do it all. So, and again, like I said, I'm sure we'll just dive into that more. So.
Hey, good morning, everyone. I'm Bogdan Constantin, co-founder and CMO of Menguin. We do online student tuxedo rental. Similar to Don, I do a lot of different things. I've been everything from our CTO to our CMO to, I suppose at times, the guy that takes out the trash. So anything that's needed of me.
That's me too. I'm Michele Schwartz, and I'm the founder, editor, chief everything except technology, that gets outsourced, of the Modern Jewish Wedding. And in all deference to my co-panelists here, I like to think of myself as the Style Me Pretty for the Jewish bride.
That's a compliment.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and just start into our questions. And what are some of the tips for promoting a new wedding blog? Some of these wedding professionals out here are maybe just started a blog. Whoever wants to answer it.
You went out of order. Which
Absolutely.
question was that?
So the key, the way I look at blogging is I use this kind of analogy of you're a chef in a kitchen, right? And you're cooking up a great meal. And the key is always the ingredients. Whatever you're writing about should be really pervasive and so share-worthy that your readers just so well connect with it that they have no choice but to share it with someone important in their lives. So whether it's bridal content, for example, at Menguin, we'll do things like the 12 ugliest bridesmaids dresses. Even though we do online student tux rental, we're going after the bridal market, brides and grooms. And this is one of those things that not just brides but grooms and everyone is just constantly sharing or tagging on Facebook, Instagram, etc. Just because it's just a funny, we've got photos from the 1800s themed dresses to late 90s to whatever happened in the 70s, across the board. The key is make it super share worthy by injecting humor or anything that people can relate to. And of course, if you've got your own native content or native photography, that's always the best.
And I think too, it's no surprise that there's a lot of blogs out there, so really figure out your angle of what makes your blog special and unique and different and run with that, own that, and that's where you'll really succeed when you can shine and kind of find your little corner in the world that can stand out and you become the expert in that specialized item like the Modern Jewish bride.
Thank you.
Yeah, I guess the next question I would say, what mistakes do you think are common with new bloggers?
I have to say, especially since I'm kind of a photo snob, so much of our work is really driven by photos. So not going with photography that's not just good, but great. We see ordinaries are right, but we're looking for better than that. So you really have to push yourself to take it up to the next level. Something dynamic will capture your audience as well.
One mistake I would say that new bloggers do is not being consistent with your content. So your readers are coming to you, and if they stop by, once or twice in a week, and they're seeing the same post up, they're going to stop coming. So you need to be, constantly creating new content and be consistent with it and have a schedule so they know when and what to expect.
And along those same lines, I think that just posting any content, just to have some content up there, is not the right way to go. You need to be constantly creating new content that has great visuals and that is part of your brand or the wedding niche corner of your world that you're trying to get into.
Completely agree with all those points, and just to tack onto that, I see a lot of people that are writing just to write, right? Like, anytime I'm doing something, I always stop and think, what am I doing right now? What is the intent of this blog post, this marketing initiative, whatever it may be, and who is the audience that I'm trying to engage or leverage, right? And we see it, especially when we'll do collaborations and stuff like that, that people are just writing about, I saw these great invitations, or etc., and they're blogging about that, not knowing who the bride, or at what point the bride that they're trying to attract is in her, her buying funnel or decision-making mindset. So knowing your audience makes a world of difference.
Okay, I got my mic, so you can just. But the next question is, how do you continue to bring, fresh new content to the blog?
So I get all my submissions. I have 100% curated content. I shouldn't say 100%. 90% curated content, and I get my submissions from planners and primarily photographers and almost exclusively through Too Bright Lights. Even when brides themselves request, they're like, oh, I would really like to see my wedding up there. I tell them to please go through the photographers because it's vitally important, A, that the photographer knows their image is being used, and B, that all the other wedding vendors, or as I call them, creative partners, are all credited for the work that they're doing.
I think a big one, people I think really value authenticity and unique takes on, the norm, right? So everybody gets married, right? It's one of those stages of life, like having kids, graduating college, etc. So at Menguin, we're always looking at taking a unique or humorous approach to something. Like if you think about it, what is a wedding, right? I know we're a room full of wedding professionals, but at the end of the day, it's a party for your 100 to 200 of your closest friends. It's a 4-hour party, right? So how can we be humorous and fun with that and engaging in a way that people are going to again share it? So anything we do, we're always taking that approach. That's why I mentioned 12 ugliest bridesmaids dresses. We do 12 biggest bachelor party fails. Anything that's going to engage our audience, and it doesn't have to be men or women. It just needs to be that wedding customer. So we're always looking at humorous takes on the same old, whether invitations, cakes, or literally anything. Venue selection.
We have a pretty fluent submission process at Sounding Pretty. We get about 500 submissions a week across the board from planners, photographers, brides, grooms. So we have a lot to, choose from. We publish about 75 different weddings a week. But as far as sort of unique native content, we really, we have a lot of editorial meetings. We brainstorm, and it's really important to speak to our audience. We don't want to go outside of what they're used to with Sounding Pretty. You know what you're getting when you come to Sounding Pretty. And so we try to find unique ways to speak to the audience by still sort of staying in our space. So a lot of how-to posts, brides really like specifics, and so we've all been married, some of us haven't, so we do a lot of talking about like what would we have liked and what would help us, and so after we speak for about an hour, we'll come up with a bunch of different topics and sort of hash them out, revisit. That's basically our process.
Everything you guys said too, and I'll add also, just look at what's trending and outside of our wedding space. It doesn't have to be just weddings. So look at holidays, whether they're official holidays or like donut holidays. I think national boyfriend holidays. I got in trouble because I didn't call it out because I'm not married. But yeah, look at that, and you can go weddings and award shows are always great to kind of find the bridal angle of what everyone on the red carpet. So look outside of the world beyond just weddings to kind of figure out the wedding angle that we report out there.
Yeah, that's great advice.
What topics and real weddings are brides and couples kind of looking for right now?
Mine's
Anybody
easy.
jump
Yeah,
in?
y'all can think. Mine's easy. So, the Jewish brides are looking for traditional ways or modern ways to incorporate traditions of the Jewish faith, but also primarily how to use Jewish traditions in an interfaith wedding. So that's what my brides are looking for, trends, and how can they make it Jewish without being ultra traditional.
So, as I mentioned, we do national student tuxedo rental, right, all online. So we have a whole gamut of guy that's in our stuff, and we realized early on we would do these high-end photo shoots with models and stuff like that, and our average guy is not a model, right? He likes college football and he likes overindulging on nachos on Friday night. So we started doing things that were, more authentic, where we had real customers wearing our tuxes that looked like normal people, like myself, and that went so much farther than anything else that we ever. It's been so much more successful than anything that we thought possible. People really are attracted to that authenticity. They want to know that what they're getting is through our brand is authentic, and exactly when what they see is what they're going to get. So as soon as we started investing more in that authenticity, just the content just started blowing up.
I think I mentioned the how-to post that we do, but brides really like specifics. And so one of the things we really harp on in our submissions process is we want all of the details. And that means everybody that you use as a vendor. And so even the little guys. And so when we post a wedding, we get so many questions in the comments on just these tiny little things, and that'll kind of drive our content for the brides a little bit. They'll ask so many questions about the dress. Or so many questions about the bridesmaids' dresses, and so that'll kind of, maybe we should do a post on mismatched brides, or how you can do that, still make it look cohesive. So a lot of, how can they take what they're seeing on our site and actually make it work in their real world, even if the wedding might be way over their budget or it's right on their budget, but how can they make it work for them? And they love that.
Yeah, and I love the question of what are we looking for, because it's always, what are you doing? Like we're reporting on what you're sending us, so it's like this great catch-22. So it helps to know what we're really after. So for the knot, we've always from day one been about how to personalize your wedding, how to make it your own. So we call it like, how do you break the rules? How do you just put a little twist? I saw we have a wedding coming up where this groom in Austin rode a bull into, he's an Indian groom, so it's traditional to either ride a horse or an elephant into your ceremony, but he rode a bull. So I love that. He put this like great twist on it. So that was like a slam dunk for me to go with that wedding there. So it's those tiny surprises. It could be something small, like a really clever sign we haven't seen before. I mean, we've seen "Love is Sweet" 1,000 times, but there can be other like little playful, cheeky things that are a great inspirational tip that can go along with it too.
Mm-hmm. Well, how do you gain subscribers, increase maybe organic traffic? What do you guys suggest?
I'll start. So, as a company that just started about 3 years ago, this was a very important aspect of our business, right? We're national tux rental. We wanted to be on the national stage. So, I mentioned earlier, knowing who you're writing for is crucial. Once you've got your audience, that is the foundation, right? But the key is, how do you get in front of that audience? So, I don't know if anyone in here has played around with Google's keyword planning tool. Like, Google AdWords is it's got a pretty robust analytics platform when you're buying ads. But you can just make a free account. And one of the cool things you can do is you can actually start Googling things that people would search, and Google will tell you how many searches you have of that term a month, a week, where it is in the nation. So if you're a wedding blogger and you want to focus on a specific aspect of whatever your industry is, go there and you can start seeing exactly what people are searching for month after month. And what does that do? What does that mean, right? So you know what people are searching for. I imagine most people in this room are familiar with SEO, search engine optimization, right? You want to show up natively on top of Google search results because Google thinks the content you've got is hyper relevant. So how do you do that? Well, you tie in exactly what people are searching for and you make a blog post about it, right? So ugly bridesmaids dresses, 12 ugliest bridesmaids dresses. People were searching for that. Other types of, I'm going to keep using that example just to, but but tying it into exactly whatever people are looking for, right? You know where people are in the stage in the funnel. I think the Knot has an incredible wedding checklist, like what you should do when and how many months before the wedding. So if you're a florist, you know exactly what people are going to start searching for 8 months before their wedding. So if you've got an engaging blog about, you know, what not to do, or, you know, how not to, you know, have the floral, how not to have, you know, flowers on the tables at your weddings, ruin the wedding, or whatever it may be. You know exactly when that's going to be in the process, and you can start planning your blog posts, and you know exactly what type of customer that's going to attract. And then at that point, you know, you've got engaging imagery on the blog, you've got a pop-up maybe that asks for their email to learn more, and from there you can reach out.
So I'm up here sitting on a stage with 3 national blogs that probably all of you have heard of, and especially the 2 on the end. We all know who the Knot and Style Me Pretty are. So the way to raise your level of relevance is to start with collaboration. So I was very lucky. I would come to conferences just like this, and I would meet the people that I knew were ahead of the curve and that I wanted to collaborate with. Other planners, photographers, to get submissions, to get my name out there. And then once you start sharing their stuff with your audience, then they will return the love. We call it the link love. And it definitely worked for me to be able to showcase other products, meaning Style Me Pretty, the Knot, other products and their content helped drive people to my page.
You know, honestly, it's content. You know, we try to come up with as many new ideas, and you need to remember that you may have seen it a million times, but not necessarily a bride has seen it a million times. And one time my mom called me and said, I was at this wedding last weekend and it was so cool. They had a photo booth. And I went, wow, crazy. You just have to remind yourself that, you know, you may have seen it in the 500 submissions you got that week, but, you know, there's brides out there who haven't. It's new to them and it's new to their guests. And so just that unique content might span a lot of different sort of definitions, but make sure that unique content is just constantly up on the blog, and, you know, and people will find it and they'll share it and your traffic will increase.
And partnerships are a great way. We've had a lot of success with that. How We Ask is a great example that we partnered with a lot. So it's kind of a pre-engaged audience that we've developed this relationship with, and we're now partnered together. But it's a way to kind of find someone else that can piggyback on what you do, and you can likewise you help each other out that way. So it's a really great way to find someone you can buddy up with, and ultimately you do help each other's SEO too, and you drive traffic to each other.
All right, well, some questions are coming in, so if you want to keep putting in some questions, I'm seeing them now. One person said there was another session here at the Wedding MBA, and somebody mentioned 1 personal post for every 3 business posts. What do you guys feel about that?
Sorry, every 3 business posts?
They said 1 personal post for every 3 business posts. I mean, I guess it would be for a smaller business, is what I'm gathering.
I think that's okay. I think if you're going to do that, just stick to it and own it. That's your plan. I personally love using the blog as an opportunity to reveal your personality. Everyone is running around crazy. They have no time. So any way you can get your personality out there for your clients to feel like they can connect with you and know you, they're going to love that. I mean, there's only so much photos can do. If they like you, you're a step ahead of someone else that would probably want to call you. So if that's your plan, stick with it and make it fun, you know, like not just, I went to the bank today, like, you know, here's my kids and this is what we did, or here I'm in Vegas, or I think as long as it's engaging and you want to keep going and you want to kind of dig through more posts, it'll help your business out.
Mm-hmm. So anybody have any thoughts? Yes, no?
Yes. So everyone in here, for the most part, is a small business owner. So what that means is you've got a brand, right? So I think that brand should be reflected in every post you do. Right, that's what's going to set you apart, whether it's, you know, you've got playful banter, you're really witty, you've got great jokes, whatever it may be, you know, you're a great designer or creative. Reflect that in every single post, not just, you know, personal or business. I think we live in a world where personal and business are one and the same. You're doing a personal call on your iPhone, you're also instantly a business call, right? the worlds are rapidly colliding, especially as we get farther and further into the century. So it's always personal, it's always business, right? So how can you reflect and show that in everything that you do so people can connect with you on an authentic level?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to go ahead and do that. Any suggestions for starting a video blog about weddings?
Haven't done that.
That's somebody, Ace of Hearts, I think. And I can't. I don't know if I see her. Is it back there? Okay.
That's a really great question. I'm sure you guys see advertisements on Facebook all the time, video ads, things like that. I think the biggest key, I think video is the next big forefront. We're investing heavily in it at Menguin, but I think the key is it's small clips, right? So sub 5 minutes. You even have a lot of the production studios now that are actually making whole mini-series that are sub 5 minutes that they release every few days. So I think that's the key. People are going to tune out after I think that 5 minute mark, but finding a way to make those 5 minutes really engaging and relevant. And there's a bunch of tools even on your phone now, like you've got the 360 recordings and all that stuff you can do where people can really be immersed in whatever they're seeing. And it's not just a video, it's an experience. I think that's the key.
And I'll add, if you're going to go there, make sure it's mobile friendly because, there's a big, I think 90% of our millennials, I think with our actual stat, they're planning their wedding on their phone. We send a survey out and thousands of brides complete it. So if you're not mobily optimized, chances are you're losing an audience because they're not looking at your website on the computer, they're looking on their phone. So if you are going to do video, make sure it'll load and be quick because it's going to take more than 2 seconds to kick in. You might lose an audience that way too. We did experiment with video on our homepage and it was interesting to see how it kind of changed things up. So you never know it's going to work. Give it a shot, try it, and then if it works, keep going. If not, go on to something else. There's nothing wrong with iterating as you go.
I have one more thing to piggyback onto that question. If you're going to do those videos, I would definitely recommend posting them on YouTube, tying them to your business account, because that's also going to help your SEO relevancy with Google, right? They'll start thinking about engaging content, not just writing, but also video, and that's going to help.
Mm-hmm. All right, the next question is through our audience or online. What's the perfect length for a blog, both for SEO and for attention span?
So at least 300 words, because if it's less than 300 words, it won't get indexed. And I am more about the visuals than necessarily the text length. And as long as you've got the keywords and the SEO and you have all the H1s and H2s, does everyone know what I'm talking about when I say that? Okay. So if you have your headlines, and that's a whole nother session, but when you're posting something, you want to check your tags, and that's H1, H2, H3 stands for your headlines. And so it's not just about the length being 300 words, it's about the proper context and format of your blog, but it's more about the visuals than anything. So it's not just the length and text, it's also how many visuals you showcase and the fact that they all need to be, as was said earlier, better than anything else that you're looking at. They all need to be a wedding photo album quality.
100% agree with that. I think what we usually shoot for is about 500 words and then at least 5 to 10 images that go with those. We like to do a lot of top 10 lists, things like that. Very BuzzFeed-esque. That's what most millennials are consuming, so that's what they know. And then to piggyback off of the H1, H2, H3, also alt tags.
Yeah.
Always alt tag your images. So if you've got an image of a man or woman, walking down the aisle, describing that, because Google can't read the image, but if you give it the right text, Google knows what that image is. So it further increases that relevancy of your blog, and when it indexes it.
So as far as the length of our posts, we try to keep our intros pretty short and sweet, and very organic, very authentic. We each read through all of the stories, we look at all of the photos, even if there's 250 photos. And then we try to write a pretty short and sweet intro that, addresses, is true to the wedding. And we do that because we know the brides and grooms, they want to get to the pictures. And we want them to look at the photos. But what's really important is making sure your photos tell the story. So we try to break it down into 5 parts. We do, getting ready photos, pre-ceremony, first look, ceremony, reception, anything, and we go in order. So when you're going through the feature, you're almost like seeing the story as it happened. And we're not so much concerned with how long the post is, as long as you as a reader are able to tell, you looked at this wedding and you know exactly what happened, and you feel like all of you've been to the wedding. All the questions you have been answered. You saw if they did a first look. You saw if they had a ballroom reception. You saw if they did a church ceremony or outside. And so it's really important that we address those points of the wedding and you get all of the specifics. And that's more important to us than the length. And then we follow that up with, sorry.
Oh, that microphone's a little, that's staticky or something.
We follow that up with, we always have a story from either the bride or the vendor who submitted. So if the photographer, the planner, we love to hear from the bride. We love to hear from the groom because they rarely write their summaries, and when they do, it's just the sweetest thing ever. And so that we let speak more to us than we do, and we follow up the photos with that. And so hopefully after you've read the whole post, you feel like you know the couple and you've been to their wedding.
Yes, I'll agree. We send a questionnaire to every couple that we feature, and the quotes that come back sometimes, you just cannot predict what they're going to say, and it makes it, we have talented writers on our team, but the voice of the couple is really what, brings it home. So we'll write an intro to our real wedding features, and then usually it's maybe about 15 photos for real wedding features, sometimes it's more about 10. We'll narrow that down from probably looking at about 100 photos. But it's just, again, it's a matter of going through, making sure you get the sense of place of where the ceremony and reception took place, definitely those style and decor shots. And then the new kind of common problem that I'm sure you see too is not enough shots of the couple at the reception. For so long, for years, we're like, details. We're like, okay, I think you guys got me these detail shots, but we still need the couple. So the sort of the iconic moments of the day, like entering or leaving the reception or the first dance, really kind of a fun, expressive moment, because those are the real moments. And I know static photography portraits can get a little bit, overwhelmingly the same as we feature such high volume of content. So those pictures, from the real moments really helps with it there. Okay.
All right. How do you schedule to write?
This is my full-time gig, so I schedule every morning to write, post, and then I spend the rest of the day kind of curating content for the future, plugging social media, networking, but I write every morning first thing when I get up. That's just my habit.
So we've got a robust content team at Menguin, and a big part of how we schedule is like I mentioned, authenticity. We always want to have fresh new content, so we've got that wedding checklist we know we need to kind of reiterate or start working on. And Fridays will usually be content days, followed by working through it the next week and then reviewing it that following Friday. So we're pretty kind of deliberate on days of the week and what we focus on.
Oh, it's me. It's me. I'll take this off.
We do about 75 real weddings a week and then additional content on top of that. So we have 7 full-time editors. And we have a pretty insane editorial calendar, as you can imagine. So it's scheduled out months in advance, and I no longer handle that. So it's pretty time consuming, but we just make sure that every day we have across our local blogs, at the same time every day we have posts going live. At the same time every day on our front page we have posts going live. And that's basically how we do it. It's just technique.
Yeah, we're definitely a complicated bunch there because we are working on national print and 16 regional magazines as well as our daily web content. So there's a lot going on there. We split the way we manage our real weddings separately from our regular articles. So I assign online articles or online real weddings to a team once a month, and then. It's funny, since we do get a questionnaire from the couples, it's kind of this, we want to put this live, but we're waiting on more information. So it rolls very quickly. It changes all the time. But yeah, I love that you wake up and write every morning. I love that. And you guys, if you can find your rhythm, you're so sharp, I wish I could do that. Meanwhile, my managing editor's like, "Where are you in a stand-up meeting?" But yeah, I think that's the thing. You find your rhythm that works. I do try to set myself different days of the week. So that, like Friday, I know is like my clean house day. So I find really structuring myself to say like Monday is my print day. Tuesday, I know I'm gonna like check in with all the employees and make sure we're getting things done. It's like a meeting day, and so that's how I manage that. That's not exactly what you asked, but I'll just answer that.
Where can wedding pros submit weddings to you, I guess?
So I prefer submissions through Two Bright Lights. I'm the Modern Jewish Wedding, and if you really can't find a way to submit through Two Bright Lights, I take them at editor@themodernjewishwedding.com.
So we have 24/7 customer service. You can call us, chat us, email us, text us, whatever, and we can get any submissions.
So we accept them on StommyGree.com/real wedding submissions. And you'll hear from us in about 24 to 48 hours. And if you have all of the information already in the submission, which is every single vendor, and I mean every single vendor, every single vendor, and the story from the couple or you, you'll hear from us a lot sooner, and you'll get placed on editorial calendar a lot faster. But we'll bug you for that stuff if we don't have it. So. Yes, Two Bright Lights is the way to go for us, especially for online. Two Bright Lights entirely powers our database, so there's a lot of great tools that we find so helpful. We really focus on location a lot, so it's so helpful that we can just sort by state or by venue. I remember when we didn't do that a long time ago, and it was just this nightmare of submissions all over the place. So Two Bright Lights is very tidy. If you ever need to get in touch with us as well, my email is rebecca@theknot.com. We'll always keep a link on file if you wanted to just look for print. But Two Bright Lights is much easier and it will not get lost.
All right. Well, let's get to what do you feel are the most important. Is it working?
You guys hear Julie?
Can you hear me? Okay. All right. What are the most important elements that you look for in submissions? I mean,
Yeah.
Well, we're looking for all of the specifics, like I mentioned, and we want the whole story, and obviously amazing photography, and also the shots. When you look through the images, do the images tell the story? And did the images tell the theme and the style of the wedding? And we're looking for all of those, and especially wonderful moments between the bride and groom, or the couple getting married, and I can't say enough specifics, because the readers want to know it. And I mean, honestly, on our end, we don't want to leave anyone out. So we hate getting the emails that say, oh, hey, I did, the donut table for this wedding, and I'm not in, there's 3 pictures of it, and I'm not in the credits. So we just really harp on the submission, the technical details, all the little minute things that you might not think are important are really important to the brides, and they're really important to the vendors that work on the wedding. So we want to make sure that everyone's happy. And all those moments, and the decor, and the theme, the style, everything needs to be seen in that wedding. And it all starts with wonderful photography.